Here's something most people over 60 have never been told. Starting sometime in your 40s and accelerating noticeably after 60, your body can lose a meaningful percentage of its muscle mass every single decade, even if your weight on the scale barely changes at all. That's not a typo, and it's not inevitable in the way most people assume. It has a name, sarcopenia, and it's one of the most under-discussed drivers of frailty, falls, and lost independence in later life. But here's the part that should genuinely give you hope. This process is significantly influenced by things you actually control, and it's never too late to slow it down or even reverse a meaningful portion of it. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the hidden reasons your strength may be fading faster than it should, and exactly what you can do about each one. If you want more of this kind of practical, doctor-informed guidance, go ahead and subscribe to Longevity Insight right now, because this is exactly the kind of content we build this channel around every single week. Let's start with understanding why this matters so much, beyond simply being able to open a jar or carry groceries without a struggle. Muscle isn't just about strength in the way we typically think about it. It plays a central role in balance, which directly affects your risk of falling, and falls remain one of the leading causes of serious injury and lost independence in adults over 60. Muscle also plays a surprisingly large role in your metabolism, since muscle tissue burns more energy at rest than fat tissue does, meaning declining muscle mass can quietly contribute to weight gain and blood sugar issues over time. And muscle strength is directly tied to your ability to keep doing the things that make life enjoyable. Gardening, playing with grandchildren, traveling, simply getting up from a chair without needing to brace yourself. Protecting muscle isn't vanity. It's one of the most practical, high-impact things you can do for your long-term independence. The first hidden reason behind accelerated strength loss is simply the natural biological process of aging itself, known as sarcopenia. Beginning around midlife, the body's balance between building new muscle tissue and breaking down old muscle tissue gradually shifts, tilting slightly more toward breakdown. This process tends to accelerate further after 60, partly due to changes in how efficiently the body responds to the signals that normally stimulate muscle growth and repair. This is a genuinely normal part of aging to some degree, but the speed and severity of this decline varies enormously between individuals, and that variation is largely explained by the remaining factors we're about to cover, meaning how much muscle you lose is far from predetermined. The second hidden reason is inadequate protein intake, and this one is remarkably common, even among people who consider themselves to be eating reasonably well. Protein provides the essential building blocks your body needs to repair and rebuild muscle tissue. And as we age, our bodies actually become somewhat less efficient at using dietary protein for this purpose, a phenomenon sometimes referred to as anabolic resistance. This means that the amount of protein that adequately supported muscle maintenance at 40 may simply not be enough at 65 or 70 to achieve the same effect. Many older adults also naturally eat less overall, sometimes due to reduced appetite, dental issues, or simply lifelong eating habits that were established decades ago and never adjusted upward as protein needs increased. The result is a quiet, cumulative protein shortfall that directly accelerates muscle loss over time. The third hidden reason is physical inactivity, and this one creates a particularly frustrating cycle. As strength declines, everyday movement can start to feel more effortful, which naturally leads many people to move less to conserve energy or avoid discomfort. But muscle tissue operates on a genuine use it or lose it principle. Reduced activity signals the body that less muscle is needed, accelerating the very decline that made movement feel harder in the first place. Even short periods of significantly reduced activity, such as during an illness, injury recovery, or hospital stay, can result in surprisingly rapid muscle loss in older adults, sometimes losing in just a week or two what might otherwise take months to lose through normal aging alone. This is exactly why staying consistently active, even in small amounts, matters so much more after 60 than it might have in earlier decades. The fourth hidden reason is poor sleep quality, and the connection here is more direct than most people realize. Much of the body's muscle repair and growth hormone release happens during deep sleep. When sleep is consistently fragmented or insufficient, this repair process is meaningfully disrupted, meaning the muscle breakdown that naturally occurs during the day isn't being adequately balanced by repair and rebuilding overnight. Over time, this imbalance contributes directly to accelerated strength loss, layering on top of the other factors we've discussed. The fifth hidden reason is chronic low-grade inflammation, sometimes referred to by researchers as inflammaging, essentially a slow, persistent inflammatory state that becomes more common with age, even in the absence of any specific illness. This ongoing inflammation appears to interfere with the body's normal muscle-building signals, essentially working against the repair and growth process at a cellular level. Several of the factors we've already discussed, including poor sleep, physical inactivity, And certain dietary patterns high in processed foods can contribute to this inflammatory state, meaning many of these hidden reasons for muscle loss actually reinforce one another rather than acting independently. The sixth hidden reason is certain medications commonly prescribed after 60. Corticosteroids used for a variety of inflammatory conditions are well known to contribute to muscle breakdown when used consistently over extended periods. Some other medication categories have been associated with muscle-related side effects in certain individuals as well, sometimes contributing to weakness, aches, or reduced exercise tolerance. This isn't a call to stop any prescribed medication on your own, since these medications are typically prescribed for genuinely important reasons. But it is a good reason to specifically ask your doctor whether any of your current medications might be contributing to muscle-related symptoms so that the full picture can be considered together. The seventh hidden reason involves natural hormonal changes that occur with age. Testosterone levels in men gradually decline with age, and testosterone plays a meaningful role in supporting muscle protein synthesis, meaning lower levels can contribute to a reduced capacity for building and maintaining muscle. In women, the hormonal shifts associated with menopause, particularly declining estrogen, have also been associated with accelerated muscle and bone changes during that transition and in the years that follow. Growth hormone levels decline gradually with age in both men and women as well, further contributing to the overall shift toward reduced muscle building capacity. These hormonal changes are a normal part of aging and aren't something to be alarmed about, but they do help explain why the same amount of effort that maintained muscle in earlier decades may need to be increased somewhat to achieve similar results later in life. The eighth and final hidden reason is nutrient deficiencies, particularly involving vitamin D and vitamin B12. Vitamin D plays a direct role in muscle function, and low levels have been consistently associated with reduced muscle strength and a higher risk of falls in older adults. Since vitamin D is produced by the skin in response to sunlight, and skin becomes somewhat less efficient at this process with age, deficiency becomes increasingly common the older we get, particularly for anyone who spends limited time outdoors. Vitamin B12, as we discussed in a previous video, also becomes harder for the body to absorb efficiently with age, and adequate B12 is important for the nervous system function that coordinates muscle movement and strength. Both of these deficiencies are easily identified through simple blood work and are generally straightforward to correct once identified. Now let's get into what actually works, because this is genuinely the most encouraging part of this entire conversation. The single most powerful, well-supported strategy for slowing or even reversing age-related muscle loss is strength training, sometimes called resistance training. This doesn't mean you need to lift heavy weights at a gym if that's not appealing or accessible to you. Resistance training can include bodyweight exercises like standing up from a chair repeatedly, wall push-ups, or gentle exercises using resistance bands, all of which challenge your muscles enough to signal the body to maintain and build strength. What matters most is consistency and progressively challenging your muscles a bit more over time as they adapt, rather than the specific type of equipment involved. Research consistently shows that even people in their 70s, 80s, and beyond can build meaningful strength through regular resistance training, which is exactly why the phrase "it's never too late to start" isn't just a nice sentiment, it's genuinely measurably true. The second strategy is ensuring adequate protein intake spread throughout the day, rather than concentrated in a single meal. Given the anabolic resistance we discussed earlier, many older adults benefit from a somewhat higher protein intake than general population guidelines suggest, and spreading protein across breakfast, lunch, and dinner tends to support muscle maintenance more effectively than saving most of it for a single large dinner. Good sources include eggs, fish, poultry, dairy products like Greek yogurt and cottage cheese, beans and lentils, giving you plenty of variety to work with regardless of your personal preferences or dietary restrictions. It's worth having a direct conversation with your doctor about what protein target makes sense for your specific health situation, particularly if you have any kidney concerns, since protein needs should always be individualized. The third strategy is staying consistently active in general, beyond structured strength training alone. Regular walking, gardening, swimming, or any activity that keeps you moving throughout the day supports overall muscle engagement and circulation, complementing the more targeted benefits of resistance training. The goal is reducing the total amount of time spent sedentary each day, since, as we discussed, prolonged inactivity accelerates muscle loss surprisingly quickly. The fourth strategy is prioritizing sleep quality, using many of the same habits we've discussed in previous videos: a consistent sleep schedule, a cool and dark bedroom, and limiting caffeine and screens in the hours before bed. Supporting deeper, more consistent sleep directly supports the muscle repair processes that happen overnight. The fifth strategy is addressing nutrient deficiencies directly through blood work and, when appropriate, supplementation guided by your doctor. Correcting a vitamin D or B12 deficiency, when one exists, can produce a genuinely noticeable improvement in strength and energy, precisely because these nutrients play such a direct role in muscle and nerve function. So when does muscle weakness cross the line from ordinary aging into something worth a dedicated conversation with your doctor? A few situations deserve particular attention. If weakness comes on relatively suddenly, over weeks rather than years, that's different from the slow gradual decline associated with typical aging and deserves prompt evaluation. If weakness is accompanied by unexplained weight loss, that combination always warrants medical attention, since it can point toward a range of underlying conditions that are important to identify. If you've noticed an increase in falls or near falls, or a new struggle with tasks that were previously easy, like rising from a chair or climbing stairs, these functional changes are worth discussing directly, since they often reflect meaningful strength decline that can frequently be addressed once identified. And if weakness is asymmetric, meaning notably worse on one side of the body than the other, that pattern deserves prompt medical evaluation as well, since it can point toward causes unrelated to general age-related muscle loss. I want to leave you with something genuinely important to hold on to. The narrative that strength loss after 60 is simply an unavoidable, one-way slide isn't accurate, and it sells older adults short in a way that discourages exactly the actions that would help most. Muscle tissue remains remarkably responsive to the right inputs at any age, and the same fundamentals that build strength at 30, adequate protein, resistance training, good sleep, and consistent movement, continue to work at 60, 70, and well beyond. The gains might come at a somewhat different pace, but they absolutely still come, and the resulting improvements in balance, independence, and overall quality of life are genuinely worth the effort involved. If this video gave you a clearer picture of what's really going on with your strength, I'd love to hear from you, so leave a comment below and let me know which of these hidden factors surprised you the most, or share what's worked for you if you've already started strength training yourself. Conversations like this genuinely motivate other people watching to take that first step. And if you know someone who's been feeling weaker lately and assuming it's just an unavoidable part of getting older, a parent, a spouse, a friend, please share this video with them. It might be exactly the encouragement they need to start rebuilding their strength. Before you go, remember this. Losing strength faster than you should isn't simply the price of getting older. It's often the result of a handful of identifiable, addressable factors. And taking action on even a few of them can make a genuine difference in how strong, balanced, and independent you feel in the years ahead. If you found this video valuable, make sure you're subscribed to Longevity Insight and turn on notifications so you never miss the practical health guidance we share here every week. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Keep building that strength, and I'll see you in the next video.